Students, welcome to Wednesday's class, the 13th. Hope you're doing well. We do have a quiz today, unfortunately, so I hope that you are ready for that. There will be a test next Tuesday, so I'll kind of scribble that up here. I'll erase it in a second just so you can see it. Test next Tuesday. I should be there to give that test unless something happens, so test next Tuesday. You do owe me homework, so please turn in your homework. Turn in homework from yesterday, Tuesday, so turn in your homework, please. And Ashley, you owe me a test, so Ashley, test by Friday for you. If there's any problems with that, you guys have my phone number and you have my email, so please communicate with me. All right, so test next Tuesday. Turn in your homework from yesterday. You can do it now if you want to. Turn your homework in from yesterday, and there will be a test, or excuse me, Ashley, test by Friday. And Tara, again, your grade is completely updated. You're good there with your third quarter grade. So you can go to Sycamore and see what that is if you choose to. Okay, you should have a quiz on your desk. If you don't, pause the video and get a quiz and then restart the video. Let me say that again. You should have a quiz on your desk from Mr. Harmon. If you don't, pause the video. Everyone get a quiz, spread out, get some paper to show your work on, and then restart the video. Okay, I'm moving on. Here we go. This is on the first page of your quiz. Fill in the blanks, as you can see. So please fill in the blanks correctly. Hopefully you've studied these 5 things I've asked you to study. All right, moving on in your quiz, please look at number 6 and 7. For number 6, you're either going to write the word concave or convex, one of those 2 words. Same thing over here. You're going to write concave or convex. All right. Moving on to number 8. Notice that all of the degrees are 120. All of the sides have a measurement of 7. And with that in mind, what is this polygon? Is it equilateral, equiangular, or irregular? Only one of those answers I want. I don't want anything else, just one of those words. Okay. Moving on to the next page, number 9. I'm telling you this polygon is regular. You should know what that means. If not, I'm sorry, but we have talked about that. So this polygon is regular. Find the perimeter. One side is 5, so find the perimeter. And solve for x. And you say, Mr. Earhart, we don't know anything. Well, yeah, you do. You know there's 5 sides, so you should be able to find what all the angles are in here, and you should be able to find one of the angles. And then once you find one of the angles, you should be able to find x. Okay? Number 10, find the sum of the interior angles of the polygon. Okay? So count the sides and use your formula and find the sum of the interior angles of the polygon. Number 11, find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon that has 11 sides. So instead of trying to draw for you guys, an 11 side, all these sides, instead of trying to do that, I'm just telling you, you have a polygon that has 11 sides. Find the sum of the interior angles. You can do that. Use your formula. Okay, moving on to number 12. Find the value of x. You should be able to do that. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles. You should be able to find the sum of all of those and then find what x should be. Number 13, find the value of one of the angles in a regular hexagon. If you don't know what a hexagon is, I will quickly show you. It is a 6-sided shape. Okay, looks like that. 6-sided shape. Okay, so find the value of one of the angles right here, and you should be able. It's a regular hexagon. If I didn't say regular, you couldn't do it, but because it's a regular hexagon, you can find the measure of one of those angles. All right, number 6, find the area of the parallelogram. Notice I put a bunch of numbers up here because I want you to know which numbers to use. This number here is a 6, this is a 10, this is a 6, this is 10, this is a 6, this is a 5 right here in case you can't quite see that, and this is a right angle symbol. Okay, so hopefully all of that should help you. All right, please pause the video at this time and take the quiz. When everybody is finished, start the video again. I will go over all these problems for you. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video now. Take your quiz. When everybody's done, turn your quizzes over, put your pencils down, and please do not cheat. And we'll go over the quiz, and then you'll turn your quizzes in to Mr. Harmon. Okay, all right. Okay, everybody should be done with your quiz by now, so I'm going to quickly scribble these words in for you. Going very quickly, a polygon in which all of its sides are congruent. Okay, equiangular, a polygon in which all of its angles are congruent. A regular polygon, a polygon that is both equilateral and equiangular. And by the way, those two words could be turned around. Okay. All right. Theorem 8.1, Polygon interior angles theorem. The sum of the measures of the interior angles of a, and you're probably thinking, why was it two blanks? Do you remember why it was two blanks? Very important word. Convex polygon with n sides is 180 parentheses n minus 2. All right. Okay. Polygon exterior angles theorem, the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a convex polygon is always the same, always 360 degrees. 360 degrees. Okay, not a lot we can do, just moving on. Okay, this would be concave because you could extend this side here and it goes on the inside, or you could extend this side here and it goes on the inside. This over here, number 7, would be convex. Convex. This is a regular polygon because it is both equilateral and equiangular. Well, Mr. Gerard, if it's equilateral, I put that, but I told you when I went over the quiz before you start, I wanted one of these, okay? One, and it's a regular polygon, regular polygon. All right, number 9, the polygon below is a regular polygon. Find its perimeter and also solve for x. Well, if it's regular, that means all the sides are congruent. So if one side is 5, all the sides are 5, so that's pretty easy. The perimeter is 25. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Now, how many sides do we have? Well, we have 5 sides. So I can find all of these angles on the inside added together by using this formula, 180 n minus 2. Of course, 5 minus 2 is 3, so 180 times 3, which is 540. So all of these angles, when you add them together, all 5 of these angles will equal up to 540. And they're all congruent because it's a regular polygon. So all of these angles are congruent. So I'm going to take 540 and simply divide it by 5, and I would get 108. 108. Okay, so each one of these angles is 108 degrees, 108 degrees, 108 degrees, 108 degrees, and this angle here is 108. So what would x have to be? 2 times something gives me 108. Well, x would have to be 54. Doesn't that make sense? Think about it. 2x has to equal 108. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 54. All right. Okay, the sum of the interior angles of the polygon. Oh my goodness, look, it's the same thing. This is so easy. I mean, it's almost the same thing. I mean, how many sides do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sides, right? So how many sides did I have up here? 5. So it's the exact, if I want to find the sum of all of these angles, it's 180 n minus 2. Well, 5 minus 2 is 3, so 180 times 3. All of these angles added together equal 540 degrees. There you go. Okay, not that hard. If you know the number of sides of a convex polygon, you can find the sum of the interior angles. Okay, number 11. Find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon that has 11 sides. Well, I just said if you know the number of sides, you can find the sum of the interior angles using this formula. N is the number of sides, 11, so 180 times 11 minus 2, that's 9. And 180 times 9 would be 0, 72, carry your 7, 1,620 degrees. Now, I did that in my head, so if you used a calculator and got a different number, then maybe I'm wrong, but you should take 180 times 9. I hope everybody sees where the 9 comes from. There's 11 sides, and you put an 11 in for n, so 11 minus 2 is 9. Okay, find the value of x. Okay, do we have 5 sides again? Wow, could have I made this quiz any easier? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not being mean. If you did poorly, I'm sorry, but this polygon has 5 sides. Well, just 2, let's go back a page. Look at number 10. Number 10, we just found out that when you have 5 sides, the sum of the interior angles is 540. So I'm not going to go through and do that formula again. All of these angles added together have to equal 540. So we have 88, 100, 150, and 90. Add those up. 8, 22, carry your 2, 428, as long as I did this correctly, and hopefully I'm not making any little mistakes. And now all 5 of these angles are supposed to add up to 540. Well, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, those 4 angles add up to 428. So if we subtract, we're left with 112. So this angle right here must equal 112 degrees. All right, number 13, find the value of one of the angles of a regular hexagon. Now, I will admit this was a tough problem, okay, but I feel like throwing a tough one at you is not going to hurt you, okay? Now, if you wanted to, you might have drawn your own hexagon. It's 6-sided. I want you to find the value of one of the angles. Now, you could not do that with the given information if it wasn't a regular hexagon, but it is a regular hexagon, thus it means all of these angles are congruent. Remember, a regular polygon has congruent angles and congruent sides. Now there's 6 sides, so real quick, I'm going to find out what all of these angles equal when they're added together. So 180 n minus 2, and there's 6 sides, so 6 minus 2. That would be 180 times 4, and that should be 720 degrees. So when you add up all 6 angles, you get 720. Well, I want to find out the value of one of the angles. Now, you could not normally just divide by 6 unless all the angles are congruent, and all of the angles are congruent. So 6 goes into 7 ones, 2, 0. Each angle is going to be 120 degrees. 120 degrees. And then how do you find the area of a parallelogram? Well, base times height, plain and simple. Now, I hope you didn't use the old 1/2 HB plus B. We learned that yesterday, but that was for a what? Trapezoid. That was for a trapezoid, students, okay? So hopefully you studied like you were supposed to last night and you knew that. I'm not, bragging, nor am I criticizing you guys, but I went over in class very thoroughly yesterday exactly what would be on the quiz. I walked you through the book, showing you the types of problems to solve, what definitions, what theorems, etc. So I hope you were ready for this. Okay, how do you find the area of a parallelogram? Area equals base times height. So area equals your base is 10, and your height is 5, not 6. Your height is always a perpendicular line formed between the two bases. And so my height would be 5. So the answer is 50 square units. If you didn't put square units, I probably won't take anything off, but that is the answer. Okay, we got to move. I want you to do not pause the video. I'm just going to pause myself here while you turn your quizzes in. Don't forget your bonus points. Stop right now and put your bonus points on there. And remember, your account goes down to 0 now. So everybody has 0 bonus points. Be sure and blank those out or subtract those out. Put your bonus points on your quiz, and make sure your name is on the quiz, and turn these into Mr. Harmon, please. I hope that you guys would have the character to not cheat. Please don't change anything. Be honest. Turn these into Mr. Harmon. And as you're doing that, get your notebooks out. I'll give you about 1 more minute to get ready to roll. I have intentionally chosen an easy lesson. There might be only 10 minutes left in class. If so, that doesn't matter. We're studying a very, very, very simple lesson. Actually, I've taught this before to 6th grade classes and 7th grade classes. It's very simple. It's stuff you've had before. So again, as I'm rambling, get your quizzes turned in. Please get your notebooks out. And we're going to cover, as you can see on the screen, a very, very elementary topic, very simple. Areas of squares, rectangles, and triangles, okay? So please get these things passed in and get ready to get started, please. Okay, copy this heading in your notes, would you please? We're going to look today at finding the areas of squares, rectangles, and triangles. Very simple topics. I skipped these 2 lessons on purpose, knowing that they would go very nicely on a Wednesday for a short class period. And so lessons 8.3 and 8.4, areas of squares, rectangles, and triangles. And today's date is the 13th. The 13th, okay? So please copy this down. And here we go. While you're copying that down, let's start off with a really basic problem, and no laughing. You're probably going to be tempted to laugh. Let's find the area of this square. Okay, so very quickly copy this into your notes. Please don't feel like little kids. I mean, enjoy the easy math, right? We've had some tough stuff, we've had some easy stuff. So let's very quickly relax and have an easy day too. Let's find the area of a square. We're going to say this side is 3. Okay, now if you've forgotten how to do that, just take some really good notes and hopefully you'll remember. In order to find the area of a square is simply length times width. Okay, length times width. And of course, if we have a square, then the sides are congruent. So if this is 3, then we know this side right here is 3 also. So the area would be 9. Let's go ahead and call these inches. So we would have 9 square inches. 9 square inches. Okay? All right, moving on to the next problem. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video. All right, let's take a look at a rectangle. So go ahead and copy this rectangle in your notes. Let's find the area of this rectangle. Now the area of a rectangle is also length times width. Okay? And we're going to say that right here we have a 2-foot wall, I guess we'll say. Little small storage space, and then we'll say this is 5 feet. Okay, let's find the area. I shouldn't say wall, the floor here, a little floor storage area, 5 foot by 2 foot. Okay, so what is the area of this rectangular shape? Well, it would be area equals length times width, so 5 times 2. So your answer is 10 square feet. 10 square feet. All right. Pretty basic. And now go ahead and copy this into your notes. Let's take a look at finding the area of a triangle. Area of a triangle. I'd like us to go ahead and label all of these sides. We're going to call this a length of 5. This would be a length of 7, and we're going to call this a length of 6. Now, how do you find the area of a triangle? Do you remember? It's 1/2 times the base times the height. Okay, out of all three, this is the one that might be the hardest, and it's not hard at all, but out of all three, it's the most difficult, but it's still pretty simple, and you hopefully should remember this from your earlier days in math. Now, obviously, I've not given you the height, so let me go ahead and do that now. The height is a perpendicular line, or a line that's perpendicular to the base, I should say. So go ahead and draw a perpendicular line like I've attempted to do, and we're going to call this a height of 4. A height of 4. So are you ready? Let's find the area of this triangle. Area equals 1/2. What's the base? Well, the base is 7. What's the height? Well, the height is 4. And just like yesterday, I saved my fraction for last, so I would say area equals 1/2 times 28. 7 times 4. If you multiply these together, you get 28. And then, of course, 1/2 times 28 is 14. So your final answer is 14 square. And we're going to say units, since I did not give you a certain unit to use. We'll just say 15 square units. Okay, so that is pretty easy, and I think we're ready to roll now to some more difficult problems. I think I've got about 3 problems left and we're finished, so I told you this would not be long. Okay, all I wanted to show you very quickly, would you please copy this rectangle in your notes? Thank you. Please copy this rectangle in your notes. I just want to show you that sometimes I will give you the area, or the book will give you the area, like we'll say, I don't know, 36. And we'll say this one side here is 9, even though it's not going to be proportional. And if I wanted you to find this side right here, okay, well, obviously that's pretty simple. 9 times 4 is 36, so x would have to equal 4. That's pretty easy, okay? All right, moving on. Sometimes in a triangle, this can be a little more difficult, so please pay attention. We're going to say the area of this triangle is 30. And we're going to say the base right here has a length of 3. And I want you to find the height. Now the height, I'm drawing a dotted line because the height is outside the triangle. So it's kind of an imaginary line. And then if I drew an imaginary line from the base of this triangle and extended it out, now you understand these red lines are really not part of the triangle. I'm just trying to show you right here. I'm just trying to show you the height of the triangle, okay? And in this case, we don't know what the height is, so I'm going to put an H, and we're going to find the height of the triangle. All right, here we go. Well, let's use our formula. We know area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Now for the area, I've given that to you. We're going to substitute 30. For 1/2, I'm going to substitute, well, 1/2. For the base, I'm going to substitute 3. And for the height, I'm going to substitute h. Now we learned yesterday, whenever you're solving these equations, simplify each side as far as you can, okay? So 30 you cannot simplify, so we leave that alone. And then we have 1/2 times 3 times 8. So let's make this really easy. What if I had 5 times 6 times x? You guys know what to put. You would put 30x, right? 5 times 6 times x. Well, just because there's a fraction down here doesn't change anything. 1/2 times 3 times h. Use a calculator if you need to. You would get 1.5h. 1.5h, okay? And then we're going to divide both sides by 1.5. So we divide this side by 1.5. And we divide this side by 1.5, and you should get 20 for your answer. 20. So sometimes, let's go back real quick. Sometimes I'm going to ask you to find the area of a square or a rectangle or a triangle. Sometimes I will give you the area and I'll ask you to find for a missing side or a missing height. And then lastly, sometimes I will give you some really difficult area problems like this. So would you take a second and copy this down, please? I'm going to go ahead this time and do something that I don't usually do. I'm going to pause the video. I'll tell you what, no, you just go ahead and keep working. I'm going to go ahead and let the video run. So I'm going to let the video run, and I want you to go ahead. I'll give you a minute to copy this down in your notes the best that you can. So take a second and copy this down. And then we're going to find the area of this strange shape. Okay, take a second and copy this down. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's find the area of this shape right here. Now, when you're given strange figures like this is my suggestion to you, and I have taught this for years, and sometimes students get a little confused, first of all, on how to divide this up. Now, I mean, I guess you could divide it up into, I'm being kind of facetious, but circles and, you know, and rhombuses and all kinds of weird shapes. But I mean, why would we do that? I mean, we know how to find the area of rectangles. Let's divide this thing up into rectangles and make it easy. So I'm going to go ahead, and there's different, you could draw lines like this and like this and like this. You could do this more than one way. Here's how I've chosen, and you, on a test or a quiz, you just try different ways. I'm going to drop down a line here. There's a rectangle, and I'm going to drop down a line here. Now, sometimes students don't see, and even myself, sometimes it's hard for me to see which two numbers do I use. Like here, for this rectangle here, do I use 7 times 10? Well, is 10 the length of this whole line? Obviously, it's not. So here's what I recommend to students, okay? I recommend to students that they take this rectangle here and they draw it by itself off to the side. And then label the sides. Well, we see this right here is 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 6 right here. And we see this side right here is 12. So I'm going to put a 12. And what's the area of this rectangle? 72. 6 times 12. Now, I'm going to draw this bigger rectangle. I'm going to do it right here. I won't have a lot of room, but that's okay. There. That's this rectangle right here. All right? Now, watch this. Do I know how long this side is? Yes, I do. It's a 7, so I'm going to put a 7 right here. Do I know how long this whole side is right here? Well, let's see. I know from here to here it's 10. And look over here, students. If from here to here is 8, then what's the distance from here to here? It has to be the same as this, so this would be an 8. So what's the length of this whole side over here? Well, to me it's pretty obvious, and I hope it is to you also, that it has to be 18. So I'm going to put 18. Now, what's the area of this rectangle? Well, I'm doing it in my head. I hope this is right. It's 7 times 18, which would be 126. And now let's go ahead and draw this last rectangle over here. And this one's pretty cut and dried. I mean, we can see this length right here is 9, and this length right here is 8, so that's pretty simple. I'm going to write a 9 here and an 8 here, and the area is 72. So we know the area of this rectangle is 72, the area of this one's 126, this one's 72. Let's add them all up. 76 plus 126 plus 72. That would be 4 carrier 1, 7 carrier 1. I did it quickly. I hope that's right. 8, 15, 17, I think that's right. Square units. Okay, now it's a Wednesday. I'm not giving bonus points. You just emptied your account. We're not going to have a quiz for a while. I'm not giving homework, but I'm going to give a suggested assignment that you do if you feel like you would struggle with these problems. If you feel like these are kind of a joke and they're really easy, that's fine. I'm not going to collect this tomorrow, and so it's not going to be done for grade. Now I will say this, if I was there in class, I know Mr. Harmon's a supervising teacher. If I was there, I would say, students, this is math class. We're going to work on this until the bell rings, or maybe until a couple minutes are left. I'll give you the last minute or two to pack up, whatever. But that's up to your teacher at school. I would recommend you just go through and try some of these and finish up the class period with math. But either way, this is not going to be collected. This is not for a grade. I'm not going to do a help video on this on YouTube, but this is something where you can practice if you need to. Have a great day. One more lesson. No, I think 2 more lessons. One tomorrow and maybe one on Friday, review sheet on Friday, review sheet on Monday, and a test on Tuesday. Have a great day.